action right now. We've got for the Murderous Crows lining up on the start line. I can't see that far.
We have 0 jamming for the Murderous Crows.
For the Homicidals, that looks like... we will find out in a second. It is.
And we have Bex Rated jamming for the Homicidals. She is currently lead jammer of this jam. Coming around to turn 3. Making her way through the pack. 0 not far behind her as we move on to turn 1. Sorry. We have Bex Rated making her way around turn 2 to come into the back of the pack. 0 not far behind her. Calling it off, getting herself a 4, or both ladies got themselves a 4-point jam. I don't skate with these guys. Oh, I skate with these Vic at 7 o'clock.
Oh,
they're not easy.
It's one of my favorites. I love your logo and your name so much.
Oh, thank you. Nice. Thank you. We have Sheila Takya jamming for the Murderous Crows. And we have Diabolical Rapture jamming for the Homicidals. Dolls, I should say. Both ladies pushing against very strong walls.
Both ladies very high rotation jammers this weekend. I saw quite a bit of Sheila Takya yesterday, and I had the privilege of actually sitting down and watching the Homicidals game earlier today, and that was awesome.
Lady Vengeance recycling Sheila Takya down here on turn 4. And we have Diabolical Rapture pushing her way through turn 4, being recycled by the Murderous Crows blockers. We have Sheila Takya pushing her way on that big Homicidals wall down. Athleticism.
That's the word I was looking for.
Jamming for the Homicidals, we have Yellen Rage, and for the Murderous Crows, we have 0.
Loose cannon.
Lou Cannon, my apologies.
No, it's loose cannon, as in loose cannon.
Cannon, my apologies.
I've actually called Loose Cannon's game earlier on, and I have written down that name in my book of favorite derby names.
Yellen Rage calling off the jam, scoring herself 3 points. To the Homicidals are now on 14, and the Murderous Crows are on 11 down here at track 1 at the Bendigo Exhibition Centre for the Bendigo Rebellion. We have Sheila Takya jamming for the Murderous Crows, and we have Bex Rated jamming for the Homicidals.
Bex Rated, definitely a very capable jammer, a fantastic form, and just glides through the pack like I've heard a lot of bizarre phrases today to describe how impressive a lot of skaters are.
So Bex Rated is currently lead jammer for this jam.
Sheila Takya hot on her tails.
Very fast back, calling it off as she gets past one of the Murderous Crows.
That 1 point will make all of the difference later on in the game.
It certainly will.
Oh.
Holy Roller being recycled by Bowadacious Bruiser from the Homicidals to the outside of the track near turn 4. We have Polka Dodge pushing her way. Holy Roller pushing her way through turn 4, being recycled by Lady Vengeance. And And we have Polka Dodge out for lead jammer.
Holy Roller takes a slide, having a little bit of trouble with number 1-3.
Lady Vengeance. Polka Dodge making an easy way out there. Down on the outside, down the straight towards turn 4. But calling it off just before Holy Roller wants to steam on through that pack. Scoring herself a 4-point jam, taking the Homicidals to 19 and the Murderous Crows 11. We have Buzz jamming for the Murderous Crows. And we have a Smack Adder jamming for the Homicidals. Buzz makes her way through for lead jammer.
Both teams cycling through a spectacular amount of jammers early on in the game, letting everyone get their feet and everything.
Buzz coming to the back of the pack on turn 4. Making light work of some of the Homicidals blockers. Oh, and she's made her way. I spoke a little bit too soon there. She's been recycled to the inside of the track. Smack Adder making her way around for some more sneaky points. Buzz being told to call it there by her bench crew. She listens, scores herself a 7-point jam. Shout out to both teams. Bench crews today for the Murderous Crows, we have Dolly and Bangers. And for the Homicidals, we have Tiger Mam and Cherry Pie.
Jamming right now for the Murderous Crows, we have Sheila Takya up against the Homicidals Tritone.
Sheila Takya pushing her way to the front of the pack to score lead jammer for this jam. We still have Triton in amongst that tight pack of Murderous Crows and Homicidals being recycled to the outside down near turn 3. Sheila Takya coming through to score 5 points. While we still have Tritone being recycled to the outside down near turn 3. We have Sheila Takya calling it off, scoring herself an 8-point jam, taking the Murderous Crows to 23 and the Homicidals are on 26. We just have an official timeout at the moment.
Also known as the "please look at my biceps" timeout.
Don't forget to get your ticket for the after party tomorrow night. It's $5. It's down at the Black Swan on McRae Street. $5 entry. You can get your tickets at the venue. Also a shout out to our sponsors, Skate Victoria. Oh my God. Where are they?
Oh, so it's not the page. They've taken my page. Big shout out to our hosts. First of all, great thank you to the City of Greater Bendigo, but a great big thank you to the Dragon City Derby Dolls, the Bendigo Chico Rollers, our wonderful hosts for this weekend. You have absolutely spoiled us. We are so thankful for having you here. We'd also like to say a great big thank you again to Skate Vic, to Samurai AV for all of the audio visual things. They are the reason you can hear us. And if you're at home, they are the reason you can see us. We'd also like to say a great big thank you to, what is it?
Currently, we have Lou Scannon jamming for the Murderous Crows. And I think it is Grim Reaper, but I could be wrong. We have Lou Scannon pushing her way down there on a 2 wall of blockers down in turn 4. Yes, it is Grim Reaper jamming for the Homicidals, pushing her way down at turn 4.
I've just gotten a closer look.
To a nice 3 wall of the Murderous Crows. And we have Lee Jammer to Lou Scannon. We had a little bit of a panty stash there to take the heat off herself. Grim Reaper. Lou Scannon calling the jam off, getting herself 2 points.
Only 1 point in this game right now.
We have Diabolical Rapture up jamming for the Homicidals, and we have Buzz jamming for the Murderous Crows. Big shout out to our refs and NSOs. This would not be possible if it was not for any of you obviously helping us out, so thank you. Buzz pushing her way out for lead jammer. She does have Diabolical Rapture hot on her heels, though. This pack is speeding up as we come around turn 4. Buzz calling it off for a 0 point jam.
A little bit of jammer on jammer tango action there.
We have Holy Roller out jamming for the Murderous Crows. And we have
Cassis Belly
out jamming for the Homicidals. Being recycled to the outside by Fitzy.
Ooh.
Oh, we got a lot of recycling happening here by both teams, taking the opposition's jammer back. Currently coming around on turn 3, we had Lady Vengeance recycling the Holy Roller out to the outside of the track. Cass's Belly has scored, but Cass's Belly coming around again to get herself another 5 points. Listening to her bench crew calling off the jam. Both jammers pushing against some pretty strong walls, but Vixen scoring lead jammer, using her edges, getting through down on turn 3. We do have the Homicidals pivot going to the bin. Grim Reaper. Vixen scoring herself a 4-point jam. We have Freddie Merciless out jamming against a Polka Dodge from Homicidals.
Polka Dodge really sticking with the theme of her name. I love it.
We do have a timeout down here on track 1 at the Bendigo Exhibition Centre for the 2016 Bendigo Rebellion. Just a quick shout out for the after party, which is tomorrow night down at the Black Swan. It's $5 entry, so you need to get your ticket. It is a Star Wars theme, so please come dressed up as anybody you like from Star Wars. Big shout out to our sponsors, Skate Vic. We also have Greater City of Bendigo. If you are after any merch, please come down, get yourself some merch. There isn't much left, so hurry, hurry, hurry.
They have got some amazing t-shirts and singlets in all sizes, and if they don't have a singlet in your size and you are more of a single person, I'm planning to cut the sleeves off a t-shirt and customize it.
Currently the scores down here on track 1 are the Murderous Crows 40 to the Homicidals 39. We have Freddie Merciless out jamming for the Murderous Crows and Polka Dodge out jamming for the Homicidals. Freddie Merciless has scored herself lead jammer.
Polka Dodge being recycled by Fitzy. Freddie Merciless going in.
Scoring herself 5 points there. Getting past one of the Homicidals jammers, getting herself 6 points in total.
That 6 points is what will put the Murderous Crows in front. This is such a closely matched game.
It is very close. We have Bex Rated out jamming for the Homicidals, and we have a Buzz out jamming for the Murderous Crows. We have Buzz out for lead jammer for the Murderous Crows. Making her way down to turn 4. We have Bex Rated not far behind her, hot on her heels. Coming round to turn 4 where all the pack. We have 1 point there. Buzz got herself 1 point to take the Murderous Crows to 47 and the Homicidals to 39. Out jamming for the Homicidals, we have Belle Daisha out jamming for the Homicidals and Fitzy jamming for the Murderous Crows. A little bit of jammer and jammer action down here on the jammer line. Fitzy scoring herself lead jammer. She does have Diabolical close on her tail as we come down to turn 1. Both teams getting their walls very nice and tight.
Fitzy passes the hip of a 1 player and calls it off. That 1 point, though, is what puts them back into the lead.
There's a 1 point difference down here on track 1. It is a very close game down here, great game. We have Sheila Takya out jamming for the Murderous Crows, and we have a Polka Dodge out jamming for the Homicidals. Sheila Takya coming up against Lady Vengeance just down on turn 2, being recycled to the inside. Lady Vengeance doing some great recycling in this jam. We have Polka Dodge out for lead jammer for the Homicidals. We have Polka Dodge going into the bin for a forearms, which leaves Sheila Takya out to get herself a couple of extra points for her team, the Murderous Crows. She's doing great work out there, front of the pack against two of the homicidals. Coming around for another 5 points. As we come around to turn 4, to a nice 3-wall of the homicidals. She's pushing, using all her strength. Being recycled to the outside down near turn 1. Coming all the way back behind that big pack. Loose cannon going in there to give her teammate a little bit of 10 points. We have Vixen out jamming for the Murderous Crows and Yellen Rage out jamming for the Homicidals.
Let's see if Rage can close that gap.
Currently, we are on a 63 to the Murderous Crows, a 52 Homicidals, with 2 minutes and 37 seconds left of this period. Vixen pushing her way to the front of the pack. We have Yellen Rage back here. No, Yelling Rage, my apologies, is the lead jammer for this jam. Coming up against Fitzy, the blocker for the Murderous Crows.
That looks like... Ooh, I'm picking...
We have the captain for the Homicidals. Smack Adder out jamming for the Homicidals. Homicidals, I should say. And we have Vixen out again jamming. We currently have a little bit of noise down the back here from track 2. I do believe we have the Murderous Crows up against Northside.
I don't think it'd be the Murderous Crows.
The Death Stars from Northside Roller Derby down here on track 2.
Who are they playing against?
They are playing against the South Sea Sirens.
Ah.
So again, we have the captain, Smack Adder from Homicidals, up against the captain for the Murderous Crows, Vixen. Vixen just pushing her way, using her edges around that 4-wall of Homicidals, being recaptured at the front there, but is able to get out and score herself lead jammer for this jam. We have Smack Adder not far behind her, coming down on turn 4. Vixen coming up against those blockers of the Homicidals. Lady Vengeance recycling her to the outside of turn 3, making her call it off, scoring herself 3 points for her team. We have Cassis Bally out jamming for the Homicidals, and we have Buzz out jamming for the Murderous Crows.
Definitely seen a lot of Buzz jamming this weekend. A spectacular jammer, definitely very aware of surroundings. Ooh, I say as they trip over another skater.
We have Buzz pushing her way down on turn 3, pushing a formidable 2-wall of the Homicidals. But Cassis Bally was able to score herself lead jammer for this jam.
And this looks like it's going to be a power jam for Cassis Belly for the Homicidals.
Yes.
Let's see if they can close that gap in the next minute.
We do have Buzz going into the bin for a cut track.
Those Murderous Crows are not going to make it easy for the Homicidals to score those points, but Cassis Belly having a bit of trouble with loose cannon.
Oh, Holy Roller giving a lovely hit to the inside down near turn 4.
That's Fitzy giving a little bit
Oh,
of a
we
laugh.
do have Cassis Belly heading off to the bin. Currently, we have no jammers on track, which means this will be a 2-minute jam.
See a bit of
We
jam.
have We do have Buzz has been released from the bin, back on track, heading down to a four-wall of the homicidals down here on turn 2. There has been a star pass to Loose Cannon, who is pushing her way down here on turn 4, trying to get past that four-wall of homicidals.
And that is half time.
Homicidals scoring themselves a lovely 10-point jam, taking their score to 63 and the Murderous Crows to 68. We are at halftime down here on track 1. This game is getting good, ladies and gentlemen. Very close game, very tight game. Both teams have got great walls, great getting together. Recycling is amazing down here by both teams.
Absolutely. And we will be back in 15 minutes. Stick around.
Stick around here, track 1. Okay, we are back down here on track 1 for the Murderous Crows and the Homicidals. We have Buzz ready to jam for the Murderous Crows. And I think it is Bex Rated jamming for the Homicidals.
I believe it is.
Buzz is out for lead jammer for this jam. Coming down to lane 3, Bex Rated has got herself out of this pack.
Beautiful little maneuver out of that pack.
Pardon?
Beautiful little maneuver out of that pack for Bex
Yes,
Rated.
she did. Oh, we have Buzz making a nice little cut there down on lane 4. Turn 4, I should say. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have a 15-minute break. She scored herself a lovely 4 points, taking the Murderous Crows to 72, and the Homicidals are on 65. Out jamming for the Homicidals, we have Diabolical Rapture. Out jamming for the Murderous Crows, we have Vixen. And Rapture is out for lead jammer.
Rapture has been an absolute beast to watch this weekend.
And Vixen is out coming around on her scoring pass. But Diabolical Rapture was like, no, 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 scoring her points and calling off the jam. Getting herself a nice 4-point jam, taking the Homicidals to 69.
What's wrong? Nothing. Just a number. I'm an adult.
We have Yellen Rage down here jamming for the Homicidals. And we have Loose Cannon jamming for the Murderous Crows.
Yellen Rage getting all the love on YouTube. Madison Alice saying, go Yellen Rage.
Both jammers pushing their way down to turn 2, trying to get themselves out of their walls. Loose Cannon coming up against a nice strong blocker for the Homicidals. I do believe that was Bodacious Bruiser. We have a very fast pack here down on track 1. We did have Yellen Rage listening to her bench crew telling her to hit it and quit it, and she did, scoring herself 3 points. We have a Holly Roller out jamming for the Murderous Crows, and we have a Polka Dodge number 88 are jamming for the Homicidals.
Polka Dodge taking a little bit of a running start.
She is taking a nice little running start down here.
We've seen some fantastic starts this weekend. A lot of things I've never seen before. We had one of the VRDL girls do an actual sprint start down from one knee.
Yes, that was Sandrine from the Queen Bees. And we have Holly Roller down here for lead jammer for the Murderous Crows.
However, she's been doing her starts. It seems to be really working for her.
She is. We did have the Murderous Crows holding themselves a goat back down here, making it a little bit less formidable to get past 2 blockers rather than 3 of the Homicidals. We do have Sheila Takya out jamming for the Murderous Crows and Diabolical Rapture out jamming for the Homicidals. Both jammers having a little conversation, bit of a smile. It's always nice.
Derby is one of those sports where all of the teams are friends, and I love that.
That's it, friendly banter. I love you before and after the game, not during.
Between jams sometimes, maybe, depending on if I've got my game face. That beautiful little hop over the apex by Sheila Takya.
Sheila Takya is lead jammer for this jam. Ooh, getting recycled by Bex Rated down here on turn 3. Doing a great job getting the Murderous Crows jammer to call it off, but unfortunately sending herself to the bin in the process.
There is 1 point in this game. Once again, Murderous Crows sitting on 75.
We
Homicidal 74.
Fitzy out jamming for the Murderous Crows, and we have a Bodacious Bruiser out jamming for the Homicidals. Both girls pushing their way down here to turn 3. But we do have, oh, it's a little jammer on jammer, but Bodacious Bruiser did actually score herself lead jammer, but it is jammer on jammer down here. A little bit too hot under the collar. Bodacious Bruiser calls it off before Fitzy was able to get past. We have Buzz out jamming for the Murderous Crows, and we have Yellen Rage out jamming for the Homicidals. Again, this is anyone's game. It is Murderous Crows to 75, Homicidals 74. We still have 24 minutes roughly in this game. It is anybody's game at this stage. We have Yellen Rage working on her toe stops behind the Murderous Crows 4 wall. And we have Yelling Rage out for lead jammer of this jam. We have Buzz has made her way out of the pack, coming around turn 3. Yellen Rage calling it off though, scoring herself 4 points, taking the Homicidals to 78.
Homicidals taking the lead. Exciting stuff.
It is. It's very exciting stuff down here on track 1. It's looking a little bit slippery though, in my opinion. I'm not quite sure how those jammers and blockers feel out there.
Looks like we've got Casus Belly up against Loose Cannon.
We have Luke Cannon making light work of the Homicidals down in turn 2. Coming around for her scoring pass. We also have Casus Belly made her way out of this pack down here on turn 4.
Now.
They are very mesmerising.
Oh, Bob and Weaver. They're actually from Bob and Weaver, who you can totally check out on Instagram.
There we go.
Follow.
We had one of our lovely Dragon City ladies coming over and letting us know. Again, the lovely Dragon City are hosting us. Beautiful bunch of ladies, Chico Rollers. I've had the pleasure of bouting against them. They are tough, but they are wonderful ladies. We have a power jam in favour of the Murderous Crows. Loose Cannon pushing her way through that pack there. Very strong upper body this lady has. Up against Lady Vengeance, I do believe. She is an amazing blocker for the Homicidals, number 13. She's coming round for her scoring pass. Lady Vengeance catching her at the front again. She's coming around, scoring herself a 5 points. Oh, we had a little bit of a panty, a star pass. Lady Vengeance is now jamming for the Homicidals. That was very sneaky. Okay, we have Sheila Takya out jamming for the Murderous Crows and Tritone out jamming for the Homicidals.
Hold on to your hats.
I don't even think Sheila Takya ever stops smiling. She has always got a smile on her face. She loves her jammer job. We have Tritone pushing her way, but Fitzy recycling her to the outside just before turn 1, down near the pivot line. Fitzy doing some great defense, recycling her again down to the outside near turn 1. Still no lead jammers yet. Both jammers are pushing. We have Sheila Takya pushing her way through the homicidals down here on turn 3. We have Tritone also pushing down here on turn 3. This pack is very congested. Blocker everywhere. Sheila Takya pushing on a blocker down the front, a homicidals blocker. It is a bodacious bruiser out there, holding it all on her own down at turn 3, doing a great job keeping their jammer back.
Fantastic job.
Tritone out for lead jammer.
The audience very happy with this.
Pack speeding up just a little bit. We have Tritone coming around on turn 2. Calling it off. At this stage, nobody has scored. Oh, we do have a power jam. I do believe she was out of play before she called it off. I'm unsure if that is correct. We will find out shortly.
Having an official timeout.
It is an official timeout.
Unlike those unofficial ones.
I'm unsure as to why. I do believe it may have something to do with the way the jammer called it off, but I could be wrong. We do have Loose Cannon down here jamming for the Murderous Crows. Very tough jammer, great upper body strength. Still at our official timeout at the moment.
Which means we can take a moment to say a great big thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors. One we haven't mentioned nearly enough, which I am a humongous fan of, is Fair Go Sport, promoting gender and sexual identity in sport. They are fantastic people. We haven't been talking nearly enough about them at the moment. Another one of our fantastic people who've been helping out a lot are Samurai AV, people who are bringing you bringing us to you through the mystery of technology.
Big shout out to our listeners at home and our watchers at home. Hope you're enjoying this live streaming. You're getting all this wonderful action down here on track 1. And we have Loose Cannon out jamming for the Murderous Crows and Polka Dodge out jamming for the Homicidal, scoring herself lead jammer. Loose Cannon up against Lady Vengeance once again. It seems to be that if you want to get lead jammer, you need to get past Lady Vengeance. Polka Dodge listening to her bench crew, calling it off, scoring herself 4 points. Taking the Homicidals to 84 and the Murderous Crows are sitting on 102. We do have a Diabolical Rapture out jamming for the Homicidals. And we have Holly Roller out jamming for the Murderous Crows. We have both teams lining up on the pivot line. We do have Diabolical Rapture out for lead jammer of this jam.
Holy Roller hot on her heels though. And with that fantastic wall as it is, will say, oh, ref down.
Ref down
Ref
here on track 1. But
that spill was brought to you by Totterod.
We have Bex Rated jamming for the Homicidals. And we do have Glam Bam jamming for the Murderous Crows. I do believe she hasn't jammed in this game as yet.
No, but the last game I called of hers, it took an entire game of me having to resist just saying glam, bam, thank you, ma'am, every time she skated.
We do have Bex Rated lead jammer for this jam. We have Glam Bam pushing her way down here on turn 2. Up against Lady Vengeance. That is not a fun blocker. Pushing,
No.
pushing, pushing. Bex Rated coming around, scoring herself for 5 points. Listening to her bench crew giving him a big thumbs up. We have Glam Bam coming down here around turn 4 as well. A little bit on her heels here. The pack is a little bit split, but we do have Bex Rated doing a little bit of ducking and weaving, but calling it off before Glam Bam was able to score any points. That was a lovely 8-point jam for the Homicidals, taking their score to 95. And the Murderous Crows are sitting on 102. It is anybody's game at this stage, ladies and gentlemen. We have 11 minutes left in this period.
And less points than that between the scores. I think. I don't maths.
We have Sheila Takya out jamming for the Murderous Crows and Yellen Rage out jamming for the Homicidals.
Sorry, no.
We have Sheila Takya getting recycled to the inside there by some strong homicidal blockers. We have Cassis Ballet doing some great work there with Bodacious Bruiser. But Sheila Takya is out for lead jammer for the Murderous Crows.
Lots of advice from the benchies. Everyone is really getting into this.
We have Sheila Takya out the front of the pack. Pushing through, I do believe that is Bodacious, a Bruiser, recycling her to the inside down here near the jammer line. We have Sheila Takya coming around, getting herself another 5 points as she's coming around on turn 4. We have a little bit of a star pass down here to a Bodacious. A Bruiser is now jamming for the Homicidals.
And
That was a great job by Sheila Takya there. Getting a nice 7 points for the Murderous Crows, taking their lead to 109. We have a team timeout in favour of the Homicidals. I do believe we have Diamond Valley and Westside Derby Dolls playing on track 1 just after this game ends. Can see them getting on their skates down over there. We also have East Vic Witches on track 2.
Really, you'd know nothing about them,
I would know nothing about that.
Yeah.
They are skating against the Rookie Wookies on track 2. But we are on track 1, and at this stage it is anybody's game. It is 109 to the Murderous Crows to 95 the Homicidals.
It's time for us to start getting ready.
Okay.
And I gotta call the rest of this myself.
Pardon?
Shall I do the rest of it?
Yeah, is that all right? Okay, this is Cinderella's signing off. I'm leaving you in the capable hands of Miss Trixie, who is now full of potato. Enjoy. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Cinderella.
Now you can unblock your ear with all my talking.
Would you like to call? All right, looks like we've got Luce Gannon jamming for the Murderous Crows. She is your lead jammer for this jam. Up against, that is 6 1-6, Diabolical Rapture. Loose Cannon coming around to pick up some points, hopefully stretch out that lead a little bit more. Murderous Crows.
They're just getting a knockdown on the outside of turn 3 there. She's going to call it off from the ground.
Loose Cannon with a gentle tap on the hip, sort of call off. It was very dainty, but it was still visible, and that's what counts. We've got Bex Rated skating against number 87, Holy Roller.
Both jammers starting from a low position. A bit of jammer on jammer love as they cross the jammer line, but quickly into the pack. Bex Rated just taken to the floor, but Holy Roller gets out first and lead jammer for the Murderous Crows.
Bex Rated hot on her heels. She is ready to close that gap and bring victory to the Homicidals.
Holy Roller back amongst it, scoring some points, just gets taken out on the, as she crosses over the jammer line, calls it off, picks up 2.
Yellen Rage coming up against Loose Cannon, a combination we have seen quite a bit of this afternoon.
Nobody left in the penalty box at the moment, so they've got 8 blockers in front of them. A little bit of traffic to get through. The jam gets underway. Both teams using a 4 defence, 3-1 there now for the Murderous Crows. Loose Cannon jumps on out the front. And it's through for a scoring pass now. Picks up all 5 there. Get the jammer point in there as well. Yellen Rage just heading off to the penalty box. They're going to have a sit down there for the next half a minute. And Loose Cannon, meanwhile, picks up 5 more points on a grand slam. Murderous Crows blockers coming in for a block, moving some of those blockers out of the way. Loose Cannon engages the 3 at the front. She's taken to the floor. Strings those blockers out at the front. They go out of play. She picks up 5 more points.
That was a nice 15-point jam for the Murderous Crows. They are now sitting out on 130. Homicidals 95. We still have just under 6 minutes left in this game. Apparently my microphone suddenly got louder.
Cinderella's headed off to get ready for her game. She's got a game coming up in a little while. So my name's Bob. I'm here with Dominatrix. And we're having a look at this game, which is getting towards the pointy end, I got to say, Trixie.
Yeah. And we have got number 2, Yellen Rage, jamming for the Homicidals.
The Buzz jamming for the Murderous Crows is taking these blockers out in front of the pack. And it's a proper shove fest at the front of this pack as they're bridging out.
Buzz picks herself back up as gets recycled to the back of the pack. Yellen Rage stuck behind a wall of solid green. Sheila Takia giving her a lot of trouble, as is Fitzy.
And Buzz just heading off to the penalty box now for a cutting the track penalty.
Yellen Rage out for lead. Jammer, is this the jam that turns it all around and puts the Homicidals in the lead? Not if those blockers can have anything to do with it. They are giving it everything.
Just on the far track, Yellen Rage just scored it to the inside of the track. Has to go backwards, but only about a metre. rejoins and manages to pick up 5 points there at the conclusion of that jam.
Homicidals now reaching 100. They are only 30 points behind, and that is one good jam if you ask me.
Moving to behind the jammer line for the Homicidals is Bex Rated. Buzz will be starting this one in the penalty box for the Murderous Crows.
Bex wasting absolutely no time, gets herself lead.
They're firmly in control of this power jam now, with the Murderous Crows having one blocker in the bin as well. This time it's round the outside, smoothly picks up those 5 points. The pack resets.
Bex Rated, a very controlled skater, very aware of her surroundings.
Bex Rated switches it up from the outside to the inside, trying to trail her through that pack with some assistance from Polka Dodge. But she's going to...
Bitsy, and that looks... Ooh. That one? That wasn't legal. Vixen recycling Bex Rated as far back as she can get her. But that is the Homicidals pivot, keeping Buzz well at bay. Another 5 to the Homicidals. There is only 20 points in this game.
Firmly into that back. The back of that pack again, Bex Rated. Finds a way through to see how many points she's given for that pass, and that's 5 more points added to the Murder City total.
Bex goes around again. She is not stopping.
Just chased down at the front there. She gets through for another 5-point pass. That's a 20-point jam for Bex Rated so far. We've had a star pass completed by Wagga. That's gone to Freddie Merciless. Bex is going to call the jam off. That 20... However, 20-point jam brings this to a 10-point roller derby game, ladies and gentlemen. Under a minute and a half left to go. 10 points in the game.
The crowd is having a lot of feelings right now. Sheila Takia putting on the star for the Murderous Crows. Up against, that looks like Tritone for the Homicidals.
As we go into a team timeout, looks like the officials are just having a look at a penalty that may have been awarded. Oh, they've sorted that problem out. And it comes down to this, folks, the last minute of this roller derby game. Murder City with 10 points to make up. Murderous Crows jammer gets out first and picks up lead jammer. Sheila Takia.
Murderous Crows with a
Completed that
solid
lap.
2-wall. They
Just
knock Sheila Takia to the inside.
Having to yield a full corner there, Sheila Takia. It looks like we've had a star pass for the Homicidals, and Bodacious Bruiser now wearing the star on their head and takes off clear of the pack. That's 5 points added to the Wagga total by Sheila Takia. Yeah, and the bench are looking at the period clock there, gives the instructions to call it, and Wagga Derby Dolls Murderous Crows are going to come away your victors from that game. 135 defeating Murder City Roller Girls on 124. It's all unofficial until the rolling whistle sounds, of course.
That was a very close game the entire time. It was constantly lead changing, and it was an absolute pleasure to get to call this game.
Yeah, so let's have a chat through those rosters. The Murder City Roller Girls, Homicidols with Tritone.
Bangers, give it up for your victorious Murderous Crows. I have been Trixie.
And I've been Bob for the last part of that game.
Thank you for tuning in, and stick around for the next game.